Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of The History of K-Pop Season 1, where we have been traveling back in time to learn about some of the greatest K-pop idol groups from the first generation. To add to that, this is the 12th episode in our series, although it's very far from being the last one. In this episode, we're continuing our deep dive into the history of Sechs Kies from our previous episodes. And we'll be discussing their disbandment, the sources of conflict between the members and the agency, and what happened afterwards. And just to briefly recap what we covered in our previous episodes, because reviewing is important, we talked about how the members of this popular idol group were recruited, their album promotions and sales figures over the 3 years the group was active for, and just how crazy their schedules were. To spoil a slight bit of detail here for today's episode, their disbandment is known as one of the most controversial ones in the history of K-pop idol groups. And we're about to learn why. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already, check out our previous episodes just so you guys don't miss out on all the important details. For those of you who are all caught up, we have a lot to discuss, which means we have no time to waste. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
Let's go!
This obviously isn't exactly the topic we want to start the episode off with, but unfortunately, when we were writing the script, this just happened to be where things fell into place for the Sechs Kies episodes. So, yeah. But anyway, we have to go through what we have to, right? So, let's jump right into it. As we previously mentioned, the disbandment of Sechs Kies was surrounded by many controversies, possibly more than any other disbandment in the history of K-pop. Although they're probably not the only group by now. Some rumors on the group's disbandment were rather too ridiculous to be believed by the average person. One example is that some people claimed that it was the Sechs Kies fandom that had forced their disbandment. A fandom disbanding a group? Sounds very believable, right?
Nope.
For this specific rumor, however, the members themselves have denied the claim through various media platforms. I'll break this down into more detail later, but overall, the members were initially split between disbanding and not disbanding. What else would they be split for? Ultimately, the majority of the members voted to disband, and their agency agreed to disband the group as well. With that ultimate decision, the members of Sechs Kies held a sudden press conference to announce the news of their disbandment on May 18th, 2000. A disbandment news on May 18th? Sounds similar to something from 2021. Of course, at the press conference, the group provided a bit of context as to why they were disbanding, although their statement didn't go into too much detail. As expected. Here is the translation of the statement that was given by their leader, Jiwon. Understandably, this announcement shocked many fans and caused controversy at the time, as no further explanation was provided to the fandom or to the general public. Also sounds familiar for 2021. As this was a big news story back then, The members were constantly asked about what happened behind the scenes of their disbandment whenever they were featured on TV shows afterwards. As such, there are many quotes from members and related personnel that can be used to explain what happened. But for the sake of time and simplicity, we will briefly summarize each person's thoughts on the disbandment.
좀 단순하게 생각해야겠다, 너.
Let's start off with the members first. Yoon Ji-won, the group's leader, shared that his feelings of dissatisfaction were building up due to the conflict between the members and the agency, or more so with the manager. Additionally, the style of music that Jack's Kiss was pursuing was not aligning with the style of music that he had originally wanted to pursue. On the episode of Infinite Challenge that aired on April 16th, 2016, he revealed that what pushed him to lean towards disbanding was the agency personnel saying that the fourth album was a big fail.
야, 니네 망했어. 근데 그게 망한 수치가 50만 장이고.
And he felt that it was better for them to leave the spotlight when they were still considered a top idol group, and ultimately suggested they disband in order for the members to pursue their own desires. Kang Sung-hoon acknowledged that their agency CEO did a lot of background work to make Jack's Kiss successful, but he also felt that things did not go well in the end. Just like Ji-won, he also believed that it was better to leave the spotlight when they were still considered a top idol group, and that it would be the best way not to disappoint their fans. But, of course, the disbandment still disappointed their fans big time. As for Lee Jae-jin, he wanted the group to part ways with the agency as a whole, rather than disbanding the group. But unlike his desire, the agency and other members were leaning towards disbanding the group. On the episode of Infinite Challenge that aired on April 16th, 2016, he revealed that he ghosted everyone to prevent the group from disbanding, causing a delay in the group announcing their disbandment for a month. What's funny here is that the rest of the members didn't know that Jae-jin ghosted everyone until they were filming this episode of Infinite Challenge. Kim Jae-duck is another member that disagreed with the group's disbandment. But due to other members and the agency's beliefs, he silenced his own opinion. Though we don't think it's necessarily a good idea to silence any opinion when it comes to making an important decision like this. Contrary to Jae-jin, once the group had disbanded, Jae-duck simply accepted it. Jang Soo-won was also opposed to the group's disbandment, as he revealed on that same episode of Infinite Challenge, but he felt that expressing his opinion wouldn't change the situation, as others were leaning towards disbandment. Again, we personally believe that shouldn't stop you from expressing your own opinion, especially in a situation like this. But that wasn't the only thing, as he was also upset about the conflict between the members and agency, and wanted to try out a different style of music as well. The final member, Go Ji-young, felt that the members faced a musicality limitation, which may have discouraged him from continuing promotions as a group. He also sensed that some of the other members wanted to pursue different careers, rather than continuing to be singers. Now, let's take a look at the agency's side. According to the former CEO of DSP Media, Mr. Lee Ho-yeon, the group's disbandment was very unfortunate, but he could not rebuke the hard-thought decisions of the members and their parents. He personally did not want the disbandment to happen, even from a business perspective. Which makes sense.
당연하죠.
But he decided on disbanding the group in order to allow the members to start their new career path going forward. On the other side, the group's former manager believed the popularity of Jack's Kiss was diminishing with time, and also said that he started to see a lack of willpower and determination from the members themselves. He stated that the members, especially Jae-duck and Ji-young, wanted the group to disband. As alluded to previously, Jae-duck has argued that this is not true. As many of you might have guessed, everyone had different thoughts when it came to disbanding the group. Not too much of a surprise there. And just to make a note, these claims are based on the information that was available to us, meaning there may be other unknown stories that occurred behind the scenes. And we believe that that's highly likely. With that being the case, if you have heard different or more accurate information, please let us know in the comments down below. For now though, let's leave this here and move on to the next part.
Let's go!
Now that we've heard some stories behind the disbandment of Sechs Kies, I think it's time to take a look at the conflict that led both the members and the agency to lean toward disbanding the group. As we mentioned earlier, the members and the agency were not getting along quite well after a certain point, and both sides had their reasons that became fuel for this conflict. From the members' side, the conflict was mainly due to the agency continuing to increase their already insane amount of schedules, beyond what they were able to handle. The members weren't getting angry just for their ridiculous schedules, but rather they felt like there was a lack of communication on both sides. If there was any communication at all. On top of that, some members also wanted to explore and pursue a different style of music to further experience and expand their potential and skills as artists. Now, from the agency's side, they believed the members were starting to become more rebellious as they gained massive popularity, and the managers eventually became tired of this and began to have a negative view of their actions. As we discussed in the previous episode, the members skipping several schedules and ghosting the agency was probably the pinnacle of the rebellion that anyone could imagine doing in the entertainment industry. Again, the agency had to clean up a lot of crap because of this. While both sides have their own set of stories, this conflict of interest resulted in both sides having emotional dissatisfaction towards each other and getting tired of the entire situation altogether. Was that everything to the conflict? No, it wasn't. Additionally, according to the members, the agency was supposedly beginning to shift their focus towards the newly debuted girl group, Finkel, which would have caused the Sechs Kies members to feel left out and even more unsatisfied. I believe many of us know stories of how some agencies can act this way. However, aspirational and idealistic reasons were also what triggered some of the members' desires for disbandment, such as wanting to say farewell to their fans while they were still under the spotlight. But because of that, Sechs Kies still received a lot of attention when they announced their reunion in 2016. Keep in mind, however, that many of these reasons are simply what members have vaguely disclosed through various TV shows, which more or less could have been described nicely for the sake of both sides. And aside from speculation, we may never know what other causes would have contributed to the group's disbandment. Many have speculated other contributing factors, but we will not be covering those in this episode. But let us know in the comments if you want to see a bonus episode digging deeper into the disbandment of Sechs Kies. So, the group disbanded, and you guys might be asking, what now then, right? In this section, I'll briefly outline the members' solo activities that occurred between the group's disbandment and their eventual reunion. For those of you who are thinking this was a shorter period, it actually lasted about 16 years. What? Anyway, during those 16 years, Jiwon became the most successful member when it comes to solo promotions, In terms of music, he successfully transitioned to making dance and hip-hop music. I guess that must be what he wanted to pursue from the beginning? One of his songs, Manchi in Melody, from his third solo album featured famous hip-hop artist Drunken Tiger and was supposedly quite well received by the public. When it came to TV show promotions, he became a member of the very famous One Night, 2 Days, Season 1, and has appeared as a member of another famous TV show called New Journey to the West, which may continue with future seasons. As for Jae-duck, he worked as a producer in the music production department of TN Nation, the agency established by Tony On from H.O.T. Apparently, the two of them ended up completing their mandatory military service together, and this was the product of their continued friendship since then. Suwon became part of another group named Jaywalk, and gained popularity for his appealing medium-low tone voice in medium-tempo ballad songs. He also went on to promote as an actor, and was famous for his so-called robot acting that became the source of many memes.
괜찮아요? 많이 놀랬죠? 미안해요.
However, he has successfully continued activities on various TV shows, using this robotic concept as his character. Well, I guess he's found his unique characteristic. As for Jaejin, he went on to release various solo albums in the dance genre. After he completed his mandatory military service, he went to Japan to study Japanese and arts, as the latter was supposedly his major before he debuted as a singer. After disbanding, Ji-young was in preparation to become an internet streamer and actor, but ultimately departed from the industry after 2001. He went abroad to the US and eventually started his own business upon returning to Korea, where he would get married in 2013. Sunghoon went on to change his music style to ballads and promoted as a solo singer until 2004. Some of his solo songs such as My Girl and Akyodun Iyagi were quite popular. Unfortunately, he later became caught up in some scandals. Because of this, he was banned from appearing on any TV shows, but MBC lifted this ban upon the, spoiler alert, reunion of Sechs Kies through Infinite Challenges project Totoga 2 at the request of the show. While the members were busy with their own career since disbandment, time has passed and eventually reached 2016. 2016. I'm sure you guys know what's coming up next.
Nope.
And here we are once again, concluding another episode about Sechs Kies. Today, we discussed how the group disbanded, the conflicts they experienced, and their solo activities that took place before the group reunited. And that is being saved for next week. Speaking of which, in next week's episode, we'll of course be discussing Sechs Kies' reunion and its aftermath, as well as their ever so loyal fandom.
그러니까 다음에도 또 오래.
Before we end today's video, I'd like to ask you 2 questions. What do you think about the way Sechs Kies disbanded? Would you guys say that their disbandment sounds similar to what you guys know about how idol groups disband today? All in all, I know I would be pretty upset if one of my favorite groups disbanded all of a sudden. But there is always a reason behind the scenes. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and be sure to give us a heads up if I missed anything in today's video, or if anything needs to be corrected. Please leave any questions you have throughout the season on any particular video in the series, as we're planning to have a special review or Q&A episode at the end of the season. And as always, thank you again so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you want to tune in next time, and remember to stay awkward. Bye.